Yeah, okay. Well, I got my phone out here. We're checking the weather. Welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I'm going to be using all of the tools that I can use just to tell me that it's like raining outside right now. But yeah, my last show that I did, I was seeing if Twitter X was listening and spying on me and stuff. So I did kind of a play-by-play on a Indian cricket match, and so far I've gotten no cricket information at all, or tweets, or ads, or anything on X. So I don't know. I guess it doesn't really listen to you too much. Maybe I'm just getting paranoid in my old age. But yeah, so we're going to talk about the weather. Exciting, eh? Whatever. You know, it's one of the major things about flying is that, like, if you ever learn how to fly, it's like that's about one quarter of everything you learn. Like, for the ground portion of it, there's like meteorology, air law, navigation, other stuff. So like it's yeah, like meteorology is a big thing because when you're flying around, there's clouds and stuff, and weather can get you in trouble if you're not careful. So right now, I heard there was something about they were calling for like possible ice storms and stuff like that up in eastern Ontario today. I was like, "Ooh, that's not cool, man." They can get some nasty ones in the springtime, and like all that ice builds up on power lines and they go down, and it can be nasty, and airports can be closed for a while too. So like they always say, if you got I forgot what they always say. If you got time to spare, go by air. There we go. So it's like that could happen. So what's going on with this weather here where I am in Windsor, Ontario? I'll show you some actual like pilot weather kind of stuff that we look at, and you're required to know this when you're a pilot. And I get to use my neat little presentation stuff here too. So let's check this out. Now this is what they call a GFA, and there's all this stuff in aviation that's very jargony and stuff, and I don't even know if you could see that probably on your screen, but there's like all these little weird lines and hash marks and squiggles and abbreviations and stuff like that. You have to know how to do that and decipher this thing to get your pilot's license. And so I'll be the translator here for some of this, so we can kind of see. Oh, looks like Wrench popped into the chat. Hello, Wrench. And yeah, so this is the weather that we look at in Canada for our stuff from the good people at Nav Canada. And in the States, it's similar, but a little bit different. Over there, this would be equivalent to what they call a prog chart over in the United States. And so this is what you'll always get this on a written test. There'll be like some real weird, wacky weather, and it'll say at this place, what kind of weather can you expect at this time? And so right, this is a it's kind of like a forecast for 1800 Zulu, which is it's a few hours. It's this afternoon. I always hate doing those calculations between Zulu time or UTC time or Greenwich Mean Time. It's all kind of the same thing. We're here in Eastern time zone here in Canada. Yeah, so at the bottom there, I can see there's a little A, and which means if you see the letter A, it doesn't mean that there's a great big A up in the sky. It means like, hey, look at the notifications in the comments under A. So let's see if I can read this with my old eyes. All right. Okay, so what they're forecasting there. Oh, 2,500 overcast. Okay, so from 2,500 feet to 12,000 feet overcast, and then another broken layer, and that's other stuff from 16,000 to 20,000. What's it say there? So greater than 6 statute miles. We got some light rain, mist, extensive ceilings at 1,500 feet above ground, occasional altocumulus castellatus, blah, 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 whole bunch of clouds, womp, womp, womp. Isolated cumulonimbus. Okay, that'll give you some thunderstorms and rain over the far southwestern section. Okay. Yep. So, and that's where you would see there's a little thunderstorm thing there, right over at 1800 here. They're saying, hey, you're gonna have you're gonna be having some thunderstorms, Graham. So, okay, thanks, good people at Nav Canada. And then so this is like, I don't know, really piloty. And but there's another thing. What I usually check out, I have the app on my phone, and I also have, you can just go to the website, windy.com, and we'll check that out. All right. So this is like, I just did a screenshot here of what I was looking at on my computer. And so I'm pretty much right in the middle of that. Windsor's not on this map, but Detroit is, which is just a couple miles over there. And so we're pretty much neighbors of Detroit. And yeah, you can see there's a whole bunch of garbage there. that's that's the official terminology, is a whole bunch of garbage. And that's moving to the, let's see here, northeast. And so, yeah, we're going to get all that. And yeah, so there's a little blob. And that's another meteorological term, is a blob. There's a blob of red stuff there, which means like really intense rain and thunderstorms right by Angola. What's that? Indiana. Yep, there we go. It's on its way here. Should be here in a couple hours. So it's kind of, I wanted to go on a walk this afternoon somewhere, but I don't think anyone's going to be flying around here. I don't think anyone's doing anything except for kind of hunkering down and waiting for the storm to pass. So there's that. And then I'm also, so that's like kind of the big picture. And so if you're ever doing like any type of a check ride with you're doing your instrument rating or your private pilot license or your commercial pilot license, it's always good to, if you're good, the examiner will probably say, okay, give me a weather briefing for a trip that we're supposed to be taking today. And then usually what you would do is start with the big stuff, kind of get the big picture of what the weather is, and then kind of narrow it down to your actual airport. And then at that point, you'll make a go or a no-go decision. So what's the weather like at the Windsor Airport? I don't know. Check it out. Let's check this out. I got this. I really don't use this app too much, but Avia Weather. All right, what do we got here? And yeah, so this is for Windsor. It's just some little app on your phone, just like that. And then so that is in the decoded version. You can see it says decoded right over. I don't know not sure if you can see that. There you go, decoded. And then it says raw. Do you want it raw? I'll give it to you raw. And then so this is the raw data that gets pumped out by the good people at Nav Canada. And so that's kind of international. That was all designed to be abbreviated and sent to places on a teletype. And they just kind of kept the same terminology. And so the pilots all around the world will take a look at all these I don't know, all these little abbreviations and stuff, and the pilots will, someone in China will be able to read this, someone over in Russia will be able to read this, South America, you name it, and they're all tested on that. And yeah, and it says here temporarily, I'm looking for the thunderstorms here. Okay, probability 30%, starting at 1800 Zulu, just like that other thing said. 2 statute miles of visibility, thunderstorms, rain, mist, broken. So it means the ceiling, the clouds will be like pretty low, 500 feet above ground. And then an overcast level at 1,000 feet with some cumulonimbus. So yeah, it's and cumulonimbus. Cumulonimbus is that's your thunderstorms. So anything that that's a tip for anyone that if you're looking at nimbus, like nimbus means rain. So if there's like a cumulonimbus, it means there's rain involved. If there is a nimbostratus, there's some kind of rain involved. Yeah, so there we go. And so it's going to be rainy this afternoon. Aren't you excited to hear about that? So anyways, and then what else we got here? NOTAMs. Let's see what do we got here? add-on feature trial period has expired. Oh, I don't get any NOTAMs. I'm not paying for that. Okay. I can check out all that. Notice to airmen or notice to Wrench knows the answer to this one. What they used to call NOTAMs. They're NOTAMs. Notice of air traffic. No, whatever the new NOTAMs are. Anyways, yeah. So there we go. Gonna have a rainy day this afternoon. I really didn't have a whole lot to talk about. And so that kind of shows. But let's go take a look at that other funny little GFA graphical forecast analysis. And what else we got here? Anything big? Oh, that's another thing too. This is where I found on this map, or on this weather, I had to fail somebody on their flight test because they couldn't read this. And if you yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, Wrench came in the clutch here. Yeah. So notice to air missions. That's what NOTAM stands for now. Womp womp. Thanks. Yeah. So this is a very large scale map. So at the very top of this is James Bay and Hudson Bay, and then Windsor's way down at the very bottom. And you'll notice it doesn't go into the United States at all because according to the good people at Nav Canada, weather doesn't exist on the other side of the border, so they don't forecast it. Maybe they don't get paid for the ink or something to do that. But we always think that's kind of funny to down here at the very bottom of Canada to say like, hey, well, it looks all clear in the United States, even though it's like a mile away, and I can look out the window and see it's thunderstorms. But oh well, that's just kind of one of those things. And then you look at the American prog charts and stuff. Use your best judgment. You're always trying to put yeah. So this is, I've had people tell me I'd fail this one guy because he just couldn't read this map. So he was pointing up like thousands of miles. I don't know, probably about 1,000 miles away north, and he was saying that was like, oh, we're gonna fly here. Like this is Toronto, like a couple 100 miles away or something, and it was like 1,000 miles away. So keep in mind this is a gigantic map. Remind your students of that if you're teaching, because some kids these days, they don't read maps. That's a big one there. Yeah, he was pointing at Thunder Bay and he said, oh yeah, that's Toronto. Not quite, kid. Sorry. Study your maps and I'll test you again. But he passed the second time, by the way, with another examiner. I don't think he liked me after that. Oh, well, you gotta, that was the hardest part about being a flight test examiner, is that like when you gotta fail somebody, they're not quite ready. That's tough. But at least they know. You give them a good debriefing afterwards, they know exactly what they got to work on, and like 99.999% of the time they get their license the next time. And everybody fails a test every once in a while for flying. I failed a bunch. So anyways, yeah, so that's it for, we're just going to keep it kind of short today. Not sure if you caught it, Wrench, but my little phone here did not detect any Indian cricket or anything. So I don't think X is spying on us. So that's good news too. And okay, so that's about it. What else was Wrench was saying here? Okay, in spring, Kansas has wind. I can hear it outside my room right now. When I was an RC pilot, a radio controlled pilot, rule was no wind. Now I guess I just fly real planes in wind, but if going west, slower. Yep. Yeah, the little RC planes, they can get blown around quite easily. There's not a lot of mass there, right? So it's just like a leaf blowing around. And airplanes do that too, but because it takes a little more oomph to get a plane going. That's why your big jets are a lot smoother than your little airplanes. Okay, there you go. Glad you're flying in the wind, Reg. Yeah, it does get windy. It's like this. It seems like, here and where I live and most of, Midwestern United States and the southern part of Canada, it's like, okay, January, February, you got all your snow and cold and it's kind of junk for flying. March, it's getting a little bit better. It gets windy in April and rain. And then by the time you get May, June, that's awesome. July, August, got to kind of watch out for your pop-up thunderstorms. September's nice. October's pretty good. Now you're starting to get into November, and then that gets into like a little bit of freezing rain. It's starting to get cold, maybe a little windy, and then December you're back into it. So that's the meteorology of Midwestern United States in a nutshell by month. There you go. Only on the superpilotish channel do you get such great, I don't know, weather stuff, weather reporting by a meteorology expert. I'm more of an expert than anyone else on the news, so what the heck? Although some of the weathermen are pretty good, but that's about it. Okay. Today is Friday, and we just got a short little show here today. It's Friday. I'm having tacos tonight. There we go. And not pizza night. Last Friday was pizza. Then I'm going for tacos here tonight. And I'm going to have a good weekend. So, yeah, that's about it. I guess we'll just kind of shut her down. So, oh, yeah, that's right. I do have to remind you, like, subscribe, all that other fun stuff. Click the thumbs up, like button, and I'll be back on Monday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And we'll shut her down. We're pulling the mixture here, Wrench. Okay. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye.